Hello, greetings. This is me again, Zahra Jawad, to talk about another Quran ayat in chapter 67 from the multilingual Quran Shia website. The Shia commentary is there. Verse 16. Do you feel secure that he who is in heaven will not cause you? He who is in heaven. This means that God is in heaven. Okay, so the commentary says, see commentary of Bani Israel, Surah Bani Israel, verse 68. These qasas, you can check this. Allah has made this earth amenable, manageable, and serviceable to man. But if he breaks Allah's laws, his wrath shall destroy him. This is not important. It's just that he who is in heaven. Aka Mehdi Puya says, see my note in verse 5. Here, heaven refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual and material realms. Another verse, 17. Or do you feel secure that he who is in heaven will not send against you? He who is in heaven. So heaven refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual and material realms. My intelligence is defeated. Ayat 16 and 17 of chapter 67 of this Quran. Let me just give you the name of this chapter. Mulk, sovereignty. Surah Mulk, right? So what does Akapuya really mean by that? Or what does this verse mean, and is Akapuya he couldn't get it because the Imams, he was misled by the Imams about this verse in Surah Mulk. But right now I'm now on this garden, Jannah, not earth, but garden in here on earth, right? And gardens of entwined growth. This is Surah Naba, verse 16. This is from Quran.com. Wajannati. So I don't know if I can. Okay, Wajannatin al-Fafa. How it comes to this, I'll have to read the previous ayats. This is when the great event. Wait a minute, let me go to the first ayat. So I'll have to read all the ayats to you. From the first to that Jannat, garden, about what are they asking one another? About the great news that over which they are in disagreement. No, they are going to know. Then no, they are going to know. Have we not made the earth a resting place? So earth here is Arda. 7 now. I won't be reading all the, telling you the verses of, the number of the verses, sorry. And the mountains as stakes. Please don't think I'm averting your attention. Open your Quran to Surah Naba, because I said something here in between as I was reading the ayats. And we created you in pairs. Ayat 9. And made you sleep as means for rest, and made the night as clothing, Ayat 11, and made the day for livelihood, and constructed above you 7 strong firmaments or heavens. Excuse me. And what is this? And made therein a burning lamp. 13. 14. And sent down from the rain clouds, pouring water. 15. Did I say? I said 14, right? And sent down from the rain clouds, pouring water. 15. That we may bring forth thereby grain and vegetation. 16. And gardens of entwined growth. وَجَنَّةٍ alfalfa. وَجَنَّاتِ. Okay, they don't pronounce the N. Excuse me. وَجَنَّاتِ alfalfa. So, do you see, this Jannat is on earth, this garden, translated by Sahih International, gardens of entwined growth. Yusuf Ali, and gardens of luxurious growth. See, vegetations, corn, all this is about earth. And there's this gardens here, the gardens here are called Jannat. Jannatin. The N is kind of silent in the end, or is it? No, it is not. Jannatin. Anyways, that's not important. The important thing is that the gardens, Jannat, means heaven. And for the earth, on earth, these gardens, this Jannat is on earth too. So I didn't know this. If you Muslims knew and the Shias knew this, so some Shias, or I missed this. I didn't know that Jannat meant gardens on earth, luxurious with luxurious or entwined growth. So this is in Surah Naba, chapter 78 of the Quran, verse 16. So this is really kind of shocking again and again. And this one, that Allah is in the heaven. This verse. Blessed, where is it? Surah Mulk, right? Did I? Okay, I went to the top, so I'm again going down to that ayat where it is He who has made the earth. And okay. Do you feel secure? Of course I do now. Do you feel secure that He, meaning Allah, He, with a capital H, He, who even, with a capital W, is in heaven? He's in heaven? So Aka Mehdi Puya tries to, the Imams maybe have, from the Imams all have come. I wouldn't blame the Shia religious scholars. So our intelligence is defeated. And what did Imam say in below the commentary of an ayat? That those with intellectual and all this high intellectual capacities and integrity and will heed to this and will be believers. They will not avoid the signs, and they will not walk away from this, which is sent to Muhammad's heart, as we are told in another ayat. Akapuya, my intelligence is defeated, although he's no more. See my note in verse 5. Okay, verse 5. But what he says here, it just doesn't make sense to me, to my rational mind even. do you feel secure that He who is in heaven, this is very like unusual. I thought God, okay, the ayat in Surah Nur that God is the light of the heavens and the earth, right? And so He himself, if you go to Surah Nur ayat, God is the light, Nur, of the heavens and the earth. Sometimes the skies are called lower heavens, firmaments. Very confusing. And so, Akapuya, I'm so confused. Here, heaven in quotation marks, unquote, refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual and material realms. Perhaps I should add, where He is in this. Allah is in the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual. Heaven refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual and material realms. Let's go slowly. So the ayat says, and I took this from the commentary, so the ayat says, do you feel secure that He, meaning God, Allah, who, meaning Allah again, is in heaven? So then what Aka Medipuya says in the commentary section below this ayat, here heaven refers, okay, so He who is in the omnipotent rule of Himself, because Akapuya has put Allah, over all the spiritual material realms. I must show you this one. This ayat, let me see if the flash is on, so it will be difficult and I'll have to focus it. Do you feel secure that He who is in the heaven, and this is not the only ayat, there's this one too, that He who is in heaven or in the heaven is in heaven. He, capital U, W capital P, H capital. Akapuya says that here heaven refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual and material realms. Oh my goodness. Sorry it has to be like this terrible video, but let's see if I can make it a little better. However, what is important is another ayat, shocking. Is in heaven. Our Father who art in heaven. This is a Christian prayer, Our Father prayer, right, Christian? So I don't want to bring, I shouldn't be bringing, you see, our Father who is in heaven. So the rule, His power, His omnipotence is the omnipotent rule of Allah over all. Heaven refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual material realms. So He who is in the omnipotent rule of His over all the spiritual and material realms. So heaven, not even paradise, but heaven. Almost paradise. That song, I remember it in the 80s, 1986, 87 perhaps. Almost paradise. This is not paradise, this is heaven. Should I check Quran.com, the Arabic? Later, perhaps. So these two ayats here both say that he who is in heaven. 16 and 17 of chapter Mulk, Surah Mulk, chapter 67. So what happens to us when sometimes heaven is referred to as this, and a heaven with the garden, sometimes like in Surah Naba, it says that it is a gardens which are here on earth. And it says Jannah for the gardens. God doesn't have another word for the gardens? Jannah. And we always thought that Jannah was Jannah, at a high place. Maybe Iblis came here, and maybe he was at Hazrat Adam was in a lower heaven. So there are lower heaven, and there's a garden means heaven. Earthly garden means heaven also. In Surah Naba, verse that I quoted earlier, and the number I gave of the verse, right? Now we have heaven, that Allah is in heaven. He is in heaven. He who is in heaven, Allah could not have put it better for himself. So he has a place in heaven, and Aqab Mehdi Puya has said in the Imams, through the Imams, right? He just writes what the Imams tell him, the sayings of the Imam, and how his own creation. He who creates knows his own creation. Should he not know? He that created, and he is the one that, wait, I've got a, so verse 14, he that created, doesn't it say that he created the earth? Doesn't it say that he also created the heaven? So he cannot be, and then we are told that he is not his creation. He is not in his creation, by Imam Ali also in Najul Balagha, and there may be ayats like that, but hold on, I'll just go very slow. First, I'll look up this one, what it says, whether you hide your word or... It is he who has made the earth manageable for you. Earth here, this is earth. So he who is in heaven, whether you hide your word, he who, no, 14, should he not know? He that created, he that created, and he is the one that understands the finest mysteries and is well acquainted. So the commentary is, he who creates knows his own creation. Aka Medipuya says, in this verse the reference is to man in view of what has been said in verse 13. Okay, wait a minute, I'll show you. I'll go to an ayat I just remembered in my head. Heavens he created. Hello, yes, so here garden also means Jannat. I mean, here gardens refer to Jannat on earth. Surah Kaf, ayat 32. And present to them an example of two men. We granted one of them 2 gardens of grapevines, and we bordered them with palm trees and placed between them the fields of crops. So 2 gardens, example of 2 men, we granted to one of them 2 gardens, right? So it says Jannataini, Jannat. Now I looked at what was created by Allah. It's the samawati wal earth, right? And they say the heavens and the earth were created by God, but the name of the heavens, perhaps in plural, that is without gardens, perhaps. Some heaven which is very high, like a paradise. The skies which don't have gardens. Uh, but it doesn't say Jannat. It says As-samawati, created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, or he created the heavens and the earth in truth. Surah Ghafir verse, like that. So if you're still confused, let me tell you that, okay, there's Jannat, this kind of garden. It means now an earthly Jannat, which means 2 gardens. Which means a garden. Sorry, not 2. So but 2 gardens on earth. Yeah, 2 gardens on earth. Right? And then he who is in Jannat or Firdaus. So, hello. Yeah, so I now got the translation of heaven in from Quran.com. Sorry, I correct myself. It's not garden, but it is as-samawat. As-samawi. As-samai. Oh, goodness. As-samai. Oh, the heaven. Do you feel secure from him who is in the heaven? It says as-samai. So this is not a garden heaven, but it is as-samai. Good, because now from this 16 ayat in Surah Mulk, you see, do you feel secure from him who is in as-samai, the heaven? Not he will cause to swallow. So just this part very important before what I read now. He who is in heaven, meaning Allah who is in heaven. Sahih International Translation says, do you feel secure that he who is above, not in, footnote, literally in ascendancy or over the heaven. Footnote also says this, that literally in ascendancy or above, over the heaven. He who is above would not cause the earth. So we have to look at the word from another Quran ayat to find out, does it mean how Sahih International has translated it, who is above, or Yusuf Ali, do you feel secure that he who is in heaven will not cause you in heaven? See, different makes a world of a difference. And if you're reading Yusuf Ali translation, you would get who is in heaven. If you're reading Sahih International, you would get, and these are both the Muslim, non-Shia Muslim. They were, Sahih International is from non-Shia. So you would get confused. But this one is better. Sahih International, if this is true, the true translation, Do you feel secure that he who is above what this whole phrase would not cause the earth? So he doesn't even say a sama, what is in the translation here. In the translation, a sama'i. Sahih International says, do you feel secure that he who is above, and the footnote is also given, so if I press on this one, which says that literally in ascendancy or over the heaven, not in the heaven. Footnote. As-samai, manfi as-samai. So, okay, here he's in heaven. Yusuf is fi. Here it says is in, literal word to word, is in the heaven. But Sahih International says who is above would not cause, just above. And doesn't even mention as-samai. This whole phrase, it means, what it means, it translates, Sahih International, as he who is above. So we have a problem here. And if what Yusuf Ali says in word by word translation of the Quran ayats in English, then then God has a place in heaven. And also because taking it from the Shia multilingual. So then also what he has created, as-samawati wal ard. He has created. So he has to be above it, right? He has to be, he ought to be. And the Quran ayat must say above as-samawat. Samawi. They will further say, so where am I now? It is he who has made the earth. No, 16, sorry, I keep forgetting. Do you feel secure that he who is in heaven, Yusuf Ali translation, let me just take all three of them. Allah has made this earth amenable, manageable, and serviceable to man. But if he breaks Allah's laws, his wrath shall destroy him and all his works on the earth, amid which he feels safe and secure. Refer to Araf, Surah Araf, Hud, Yunus for destruction of the people who rebelled against Allah and His messengers. Aka Mehdi Puya says, see my note in verse 5. I'll go to verse 5. Here, heaven in quotation refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual and material realms. Akapuya has a different interpretation of this. He who is in heaven. Sahih International says above. That's it. Above. He who is above. What am I to do? Okay, so I'll go to see my note in verse 5. Akapuya's note here in verse 5. Below verse 5. And we have from all old adorned the lowest heaven with lamps, and we have made such lamps as missiles to drive away the evil ones, and have prepared for them the penalty of the blazing fire. Aka Mehdi Puya says, in the nearest or the lowest heaven there are stars and planets, etc. But the other heavens are different, free from the application of laws governing the material the material space of the lowest heaven, free from the application of laws governing the material space of the lowest heaven. Okay, this is just still it doesn't explain something what about the immaterial, spiritual, the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual and material realms. Here heaven refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah. So he who is above will not cause you. Do you feel secure that he who is above? Okay, so very interesting verse, got me all shaken up again. Shakir's translation, are you of verse 16 again, Surah Mulk, if you've forgotten. Are you secure of those in the heaven that he should not make the earth to swallow you up? That he should not make the earth swallow you up. Then lo, it shall be in a state of commotion. Can you see that these different translators, Shakir, Pictel, I haven't even read Pictel as yet. Have you? Okay, reading. It makes a world of a difference. Pictel, have you taken security from him who is in the heaven? Pictel, who is in the heaven. Have you taken security from him who is in the heaven, that he will not cause the earth to swallow you when lo, it is convulsed? So again, Yusuf Ali, do you feel secure that he who is in heaven will not cause you to be swallowed? Here heaven refers to the omnipotent rule of Allah over all the spiritual and material realms. Shakir again, are you secure of those in the heaven that he should not make? Are you secure of those in the heaven that so this is another or are you secure of those in the heaven that he should not send down upon you? World of difference. Shakir's translation, Pictel, he, him, Pictel and Yusuf Ali are the same. He who is in heaven, from him who is in heaven. Kind of saying, right? Him, him, Allah, who is in heaven. Shakir is a bit different, must be, from the Shia translators, or God knows. I'm not sure about that. So, do you feel secure of those in the heaven that he should not send down upon you punishment? So if you take it from the Imams, maybe the Imams would say this is the translation. And to find out this is the translation, Arabic, I need to be very sure. Okay, so what I'm doing is, since the translations differ now of the Quran ayats, and word to word of in English translation of the Quran ayat, I've also checked in a non-Shia website. Since then what the Muslims would do, if we have various different translations, to make a world of a difference, is he who is in heaven above it, or he, like Shakir, translated, what was the translation? So it makes a world of a difference, right? Because then Allah would be in the samawat, meaning the skies, or the heaven, or like that. Of it, can I say? Depends on how it is put in Arabic. And so, due to the different translations which make a world of difference, we go to the also tafsirs, the commentaries, the interpretations, the explanation of the ayat. And so I'll leave it at that for now, right? Shias, Sunnis, commentaries, and what a thing. Different translations which make a world of a difference. Because some would put Allah in heaven. And then we are told that He has created samawat wal earth and the earth. So how can He be in His samawat, what He has created? The skies, heavens, paradise. Something to ponder over. Okay, since I cannot rest, I found these ayats of Surah Mulk in the Shia site, and there's a whole article, or it's like a book, explanation, and here the ayats. So this means the Imams would say, translate this ayat like this. Ayat 16 and ayat 17. Do you feel secure about the torments inflicted by him, comma, who is over the heaven? Who is over the heaven? And ayat 17. Or do you feel secure about the torments inflicted by him, comma, who is over the heaven, comma, will not send against you a violent whirlwind abounding with the gravel. Okay, so this, at least from the Shia side, I've secured the proper translation of this ayat, right? Who is over the heaven. This is the way this ayat should be translated. We have, it doesn't mean that I'm giving preference to Shias, but just that we'll take this ayat to be on the safe side. Translations of this from the Shia site, al-islam.org. Contents, let me see. What is the commentary, the current commentary? Okay, these are on commentaries, and who is it by? So, references, English translation of the Quran. So all the commentaries, and it has many. It has some chapters from the Quran. So one of the chapters was Surah Mulk. Yes, chapter 67 of the Quran. Okay, so I was, okay, we'll take this ayat. We'll take this editor's note. What is commentary, introduction? Sorry, I cannot find the, don't know how to find the author's name here, but it's from al-islam.org. So let's settle to that for now, the Shia translation of these Surah Mulk ayats, 16 and 17, not 15, right? Just making sure. Yes, just making sure it's right in front of my eyes. 16 and 17. Do you feel secure about the torments inflicted by him who is over the heaven? Over the heaven. So, okay, I'll just, for this, I'll just let it be like this. Keep it open. And then I will come again later. Thank you. Hello, yes, so continuing from my last video, I took a break to find out what fi in the Quran means. I found various verses, and one says that in this Surah Fusilat verse, I have forgotten the ayat number, and they say our hearts are within coverings, i.e. screened, from that to which you invite us, and in our ears is deafness. Can it be above our ears? She asks. So this time our imams have lied, although they might say that the samai, samajao, the Urdu Hindi, samai, with because this, we have this problem with the way it is in above Allah. He could have put Allah, the samawati, but no, because he has to refer to himself or mumble jumble thing. No, let me tell you, like pluralism and feminism and the one when the verse of the wives is mentioned, and then comes thoroughly purify you, O Ahl al-Bayt, with the thorough purification, or something like this. The Bayt, it is feminine, only one feminine, and plural for males. So Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein, and the wives are not included in it. This is how the Shia Imams tell us about the translation and the translation of the Quran ayats differing between Sunni and Shias. But this is the right one because these are the chosen Imams. And I was a Shia and I know everything falls into perspective, but I'm sorry, Shias this time, you cannot, our Imams have lied to us. No one can see. They would say that this as-sama'i, the word here is like that, so it would be, for example, that this fi would change into above and not in. Actually, fi means in. So they say if you use the preceding word like that, or the preceding before it word like this, then the whole Arabic word fi, for example, changes to above. The whole expression changes. But I found out actually fi in the Quran is in, meaning in, I-N, in your ears or in the heavens. Now the thing is that fi aman Allah would mean peace be with you, they say, right? Fi aman Allah, peace be upon you, but it doesn't say peace be above you. Maybe it says peace be in you or with you. Can't say fi aman Allah. So the fi word becomes peace be unto you, or this is the way they use the word in Arabic. And when somehow it changes to peace be upon you, the fi changes to upon or with you, or it could also be peace be in you. However, peace be above you would upon you, unto you, peace be unto you, not above. Anyhow, God could have used another word, but he didn't. He didn't use that he is Allah, above this. He didn't use this word. He could have been a little more careful in using words, right? I need a more eloquent person to explain this, and a Quran expert I would be consulting if I could, and trouble not the Shia religious scholar, a Quran expert in this. Yes, in this I would need someone to explain to me why this in changes into the whole above, because of this this word used before it and the heaven used after it, the way it is used, so it becomes above. The Shia religious scholars, and even Sahih International has said above and corrected their own Yusuf Ali translation, because Yusuf Ali was also a non-Shia Muslim. So now Sahih International is also a non-Shia translator organization, literally in ascendancy or over the heaven. But only a footnote, it does not explain further. Then I'll have to go to the details of this. Tafsir, let me see. Oh. Yes, in the tafsir of this, it's just given the translation. Do you feel secure that he who is over the heaven will not cause the earth to sink with you, and then it should quake? So there needs to be no tafsir on this, but the correction that of Yusuf Ali's translation has been made here. He's not in the heaven. Fi does not mean in here. In these two, what do you call it? Ayats. Sorry, I can just not believe this anymore. Who is above? Devi Asamai Anyakshif. Okay, I think in this I would need the Shia translator explaining to me how this fi, which means in this Quran ayat, fi means in another Quran ayat also, like and fi, so and in, how this fi becomes above or over. So they will say something like, I have a kind of a idea what they would say, how it changes, fi. The in changes to above. But I still feel that God could have put Allah. Why did he not put, do you feel secure then that he, let's say, do you feel secure that he who is Allah, or above, another word rather than fi, onto the heaven. Anyways, this Sahih translation here, not taking the tafsir, but here it doesn't even put, it's missed heaven, just above, because maybe a samai means above everything, in above. And so I'm still not satisfied with this, although I gave the Shia and the Sahih International and in the tafsir from the Sunni sources. Everything, translations different from the Shia, Sunni, both. I'm still not convinced that it's not in the heaven as Yusuf Ali translated it. And I cannot trust fully in my Shia religious scholars. I have to do, because I'm an ex-Shia now. This means that I have to do my own research, and I will be very slow because I don't know Arabic, and I have to go through, like I've been showing you, how like the inscribed and the mercy inscribed on himself, not decreed, right? So all these mistakes, all these terrible different translations, and so I'm an ex-Shia. I believe that my imams have lied also, and that Prophet Muhammad also was, of course, a false prophet, goes without saying. So his progeny is also evil and false. There, I said it very bluntly. I'm sorry, I don't mean to hurt anyone. I mean to bring you out of this. Hopefully, with the help of time and my own, the way I just go through this, to show you that even Shia Islam, so if a Sunni wants to go into Shia Islam, do not go into any Islam, not even Shia Islam. Come out of this. It's been a great tragedy how they've tricked us and lied to us, and how they, tell us this Quran ayat is like this. Maybe because it is not even, maybe this ayat is from the pagan Arab idol worshipping birds, or Christian, that, like our Father's prayer. So there were Christians there. Our Father who is in heaven. You see, the Christian. Or, things like that they must have taken from Najran, the ones who's like this Trinity, about the Trinity. Baby Maryam, Mother Mary is not in the Trinity. So, some Christian at that time, we were told, had this belief that the Trinity, but they don't, none whatsoever would ever. There is no history about such a thing, other than in the Quran, about the Trinity, the mother of Isa being in the Trinity. And so there is no account of that. But anyhow, our Father who art in heaven, our Father who art in heaven. You see, this is the Christian prayer, Catholic prayers, Savior University. Where's the complete? This is the prayer, our Father. Okay, I saw it in the Catholic prayers. It just popped up here as I searched for it on Google. So thank you, Savior University.edu. Yes, all these websites say, our Father who art in heaven. See, our Father which art in heaven, meaning who is in heaven. But that's the old English way of saying it. Thou who art in heaven. Who is in heaven? Our Father who is in heaven. Could they have, could Prophet Muhammad have taken it from the Christians then and put it here? And so Allah do you feel secure about, Allah who is in heaven, our Father who art in heaven. So a lot of mix and match. Prophet Muhammad has stolen things from Christians, Jews, the Talmud, they say. I haven't done my full research on that. So I'm going another way. Sorry, I could not open the Talmud book, and I haven't done research on that. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at that. But I'm going the other way. So I will be getting stuck and will be getting confused, and like I did now on these ayats in Surah Mulk. And God is Allah who is in heaven. Meaning, He who is in heaven is Allah who is in heaven. So I stick to somehow this, because fi in the Quran is mostly, as far as I could, my research goes this night, because I wanted, let's see, I'll do more research, but until now, fi means in. in you, or even if the Arabs say fi aman Allah, meaning it is peace be upon you, I would say no, it is in you, unto you. So it's they'll say no, how you put it, and we could have a debate on this until something really, unto you. Peace be unto you. We could have a debate, a discussion, debating. Yes, sir. So I wanted to avoid these debates, and where I was sure about certain ayat and discrepancies in the Quran, I would only take those. But I wanted to also burn all my bridges. So I've stumbled upon a debatable thing, right? So leave this perhaps for my, but where is that peace in the mind? And find another ayat that I have, that I can discuss, that let's see how many other mistakes like this, different translations, and should I lean on Sunni religious scholars, experts in the Quran, translators, or Shia religious scholars and experts on Quran ayat translations, right? Let me see later on. This remains to be researched upon further. Thank you so much.